Welcome students. This is your first video. This is video 2.1, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to some of the basics of formatting a spreadsheet and negotiating the spreadsheet environment. What you have in front of you here is a spreadsheet with one sheet open. The entire mechanism is called a workbook. I'm going to change the view on this spreadsheet because I don't like my cells to be so far away from the column and row headings. So I'm going to change the view to normal, and you can see that when you do that, the cells go flush, the margin cells go flush with both the rows and the column headings. As noted in your notes, this spreadsheet has columns that are labeled with letters. It has rows that are labeled with numbers. And we're going to begin this video by doing a little bit of formatting on this. And to start, I would like everything that I do to apply to the entire spreadsheet. So I'm going to have to select my entire spreadsheet in order to do this. In order to select the entire spreadsheet, move your cursor to the upper left-hand corner of the spreadsheet until it becomes a downward-facing arrow, and click. And your whole spreadsheet will be highlighted a particular color. Mine is highlighted blue. Then I'm going to click on this toolbox, and the toolbox has a number of options available to me for formatting. The first thing I'm going to do is select a particular font that I like for this spreadsheet. I'm going to pick Helvetica. You can pick whatever you want. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select a font size, and I'm going to select a nice big font size, 48, to enable you to see things clearly on the video. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add grid lines, and I'm going to pick the borders and shading option in my formatting palette, and I'm going to add all of the horizontal and vertical grid lines, and that makes the cells much more apparent. Let me close the formatting palette for now. I'm going to enter some information, some text, into cell A1. You can see that when I did that, the information in cell A1 ran over. It went into cell B, and it actually also even went into cell C. When this kind of thing happens, you have a few options for adjusting cell sizes. One thing that you can do, I want to adjust this column width, is move your cursor in between columns A and B until it turns into a cross with left and right facing arrows, and click, double click, and you can see that the width adjusts itself to fit exactly what's inside the cell. Let's say you want to go a little bit wider, then you can manually adjust this by holding the mouse down and making the cell as wide as you want. And naturally you can do this also with the height of the cells. I'm going to go ahead and enter more text here. And I think I'll select the entire spreadsheet, and I'll do a quick adjusting by double clicking the columns and rows. And now I'll manually adjust. Make my columns a little bit wider, even make my rows a little bit wider. It just makes it look a little bit neater. Another thing that you can do to format your spreadsheet is you can insert rows and columns. In order to do that, put your cursor, let's say I want to insert a row above row 2. Put your cursor right over the label for row 2 until it turns into a right-facing arrow. Click. Go to the Insert pull-down menu and say Insert Rows, and you'll get a new row in between row 1 and row 3. Your old row 2 becomes row 3. You have a new row 2. I can also insert a column to the left of column B. Select column B. Go to the Insert pull-down menu and say Insert Columns. And now I have a column in between A and C. Another formatting tip that's very useful, let me bring up my formatting palette. I'm going to select these cells here, so I'm just going to hold my mouse down and shade these cells. You can see that just these 9 cells are shaded right now. You can align the contents of the cell however you want. You can flush left. You can align along the center. You may also flush right. Suppose I want to clear everything that's in this spreadsheet. I want to start fresh, and I just want to clear all of these contents. Well, again, select the entire spreadsheet, go to the Edit pull-down menu, and go to the option to clear. And under the clear option, you have a few choices. You can clear all, or formats, or contents, or comments. I'm just going to clear all. And now my spreadsheet is almost new except for the size of the cells. One final thing to consider here is this workbook, which contains this one spreadsheet, can have additional spreadsheets added to it. Let's say that you have a project that entails numerous calculations and you want to do the calculations on different spreadsheets. Come down here, right next to where it says Sheet 1. There's a little plus sign, and the pop-up window says you can insert a sheet by hitting that plus sign. So I'm going to hit that plus sign, and I've just added another sheet to my workbook. And there's another sheet added to the workbook. And I can even double-click on these tabs and label them. Double-click till it shades. You can label them anything you want, and this way you can be organized about how you use your spreadsheet. You should investigate all of the features that I just went through in this video on your own version of Excel. Make sure you know where everything is. We're going to be using this over and over again, so it will become pretty automatic by the end of the semester. But introduce yourself to things, and if you have any questions, make sure you contact me.